Hello, everyone. This is GuraVirrea here again. I'm going to be casting this game between myself and my team. I guess you could call him my team captain, GuraChaGoi. Now, there's no Gura in his name, but I mean, we still love him anyways. Um, and yeah, I wanted to cast this game even though it is of myself, and I don't like casting games where I play. Well, I mean, I do, but at the same time, it's not as exciting because I already know what happens. I, you know, but during this game, I felt there were some things that I could talk about to put on this Gigi Dovakin kind of amateur channel, more for learning rather than actual um, high level play, pro game, you know, stuff like that. I felt that there was a lot of things that I did and that ChaGoi did that um, everybody watching could definitely learn from and hopefully not make that mistake again, or maybe do this right. And we've been chatting all game so far. I don't quite remember what about. Something about Coney. I don't know. He says it's stupid. I said I didn't really hear about it, but whatever. Um, he's the one that got me into StarCraft, ChaGoi, and I tell him stop chatting because we actually had to start this game over. We started this game and then we got so caught up in chatting about I don't even know. Actually, it was about this me winning the drawing at the University of Utah for an iPod Shuffle, and that's what we were chatting about. And so I got really behind, and then it got to like the mid game, and I was like, "What? You're on this many base?" I mean, yeah. I mean, because I was chatting and I got super behind, so we just decided to start over. Um, and yeah, I won a drawing for an iPod Shuffle at the University of Utah. Not that that really matters, but it's still cool. Cool to win stuff. And yeah, this is one of the newer maps in the ladder pool. I'm sure you all know and have played on it many times. But Core Hall Compound, it's I like it. I really like this map actually. It's basically a replacement for Zelnaga Caverns, um, and it has potential for to be a big macro map, but at the same time, it's a short rush distance, um, which yeah, I mean I really like it. It's kind of medium sized. I'd say actually, because you do have all these expansions. Your third base is right here, kind of easily defended. Um, And yeah, guys, I'm using a new microphone. So if things are kind of weird, it's just because this is the first time I've used this microphone for casting. And let me know what you think about it, what I should do. Just we'll see how this mic works. I'm now the build I went was a Gateway Fast Expand, which is from White Raw, the Boss Toss himself, my favorite StarCraft 2 player. I watched him do this on his stream, and I've actually seen him do this many times, and it's worked out for him a lot because um, a Forge Fast Expand only it limits you to being able to place a cannon, and that's cool if you're going to place it right here. But with this Fast Expand, you can really only put one cannon, and it can only cover so much area. And say if I was facing a Zerg player and they were to run straight to my mirror line, my cannon would be useless. Um, if they were to run right here. But this gateway fast expand allows you to start your tech tree earlier. And because I went straight to the cybernetics core, and now I'm getting warp gate. But it also allows me to get this first zealot or this stalker out, which I can go do some damage to him. But I mean, I'm not with this cannon and his zealot here. Um, and it also allows your defense to be mobile with this zealot or whatever units you decide to pump out. Now, the key with this is to constantly stream units out of it because you're only on this one gate with 2 expansions. You are really vulnerable to any kind of early rush. And so it's a good idea to get a forge once you have the economy to do it, to place cannons. But, I mean, out of this first gateway that you get, you're going to want to pump out units. And I really like this build. I've been using it quite a lot lately, and it's worked out really well. Now, ChaGoi here is going to be getting some more gateways, warp gates. I think we're pretty even on our warp gate research. Nope, false. I am way ahead of warp gate. Doesn't really matter, though. Has he been upgrading? Have I? Nope, not yet. Which upgrades are something that a lot of players forget about until big engagements start to happen. I mean, I see it a lot with my friends. Um, they they just kind of forget about upgrades because they don't put their forge or their engineering bays or their evolution chambers in their actual build orders. And so you get to the mid game and you almost have no upgrades, and that could be really, really bad. Upgrading is definitely something that you need to do. Um, and I mean, I'll admit it. There's a lot of times when I just forget to place my forge, which is it's really noobish. But I mean, I've even seen pros just forget to throw the forge or the engineering bay, evolution chamber, whatever. Um, and yeah, we're both on 2 base, which is really good. At the 7 minute mark, just because those early expansions. And since we both did it, I mean, we're kind of on equal footing now. What am I throwing down? Um, my robotics facility. He's already got his down. We'll see if he decides to go for straight up robo or what's this? Well, an observer. I mean, that's the first thing you should make as the second your robotics facility gets down because they're so important. And looks like I opted to go for the warp prism before. Idle probe, that's never good. And looks like I've just got a little ragtag team of stalkers and zealots, and he's just got a few stalkers. Right now he's on 4 gateways. Is that right? Yep, that's right. I'm gonna have +1 before him, so I mean, looks like any engagement that could happen in the next few minutes, I'm probably gonna be a little bit favored, just because I've got that upgrade, and he doesn't look like he's gotten any upgrades. Just yet. Where's that warp prism? Right over here. Doesn't look like I put anything in it. I'm probably just gonna. I think what I do is I just kind of harass his mineral line over here. And what happened was, if you see this zealot, I missed that. This zealot has got like 4 HP and is just now starting to regenerate his shields. Since his zealot on the watchtower is set to hold position, I got the first strike. And that meant that once he started attacking back, he was 1 swing behind my zealot. And so I was able to kill that off and then run away, because I mean, I wasn't going to keep this zealot, my zealot, back at the watchtower with 4 HP. And that's something I like to do a lot, and is just to send a little, whether it be one zealot to take out the probe, or one zealot to take out the zealot, or a stalker, or whatever. Just to get that free kill that he sent to the watchtower, whether it be a probe or a zealot, maybe even a stalker. Which stalkers are actually good to place on watchtowers, because if you aren't watching the map and you see a big army coming and it's kind of too late, stalkers can get out of there really fast. You can actually save your stalkers. Looks like I'm doing. It doesn't look like that much damage because I didn't kill off too many probes, but it was because he's not mining right now. And it looks like he's got his warp prism coming to do the exact same thing to me. Let's see if I'm prepared for it. Looks like with his warp gates aren't quite cooled down yet, so he's not going to be able to warp in very soon. Looks like he's about to, though. And did I see it? Yes, I did see it. So unless he starts warping in units, he's not going to do any kind of damage. And actually, I'm going to kill off his warp prism right now because he left it on warp-in mode, and it's gonna go down. When you are not going to warp in units, leave it on transport mode, please. That was a big mistake from him, and it cost him dearly. 200 minerals, totally wasted. And I've actually still got mine alive with 3 zealots inside. I should actually go warp in another zealot for loading, which I don't think I actually do. What do my upgrades look like? Just getting +2 weapons, and doesn't look like ChaGoi has any upgrades of any kind. Now starting to produce another warp prism, and I'm going into Colossus tech, which is really, really good against a Protoss army, just because those zealots go down fairly quickly to Colossi. And doesn't look like he did any kind of air, so I have nothing to worry about with getting these Colossi. Now, looks like he's going to be coming to my base with a bunch of stalkers, setting up this, well, not a contain because I don't know what's there, but he knows exactly what I have because of this observer. Let's see if he thinks that he can win. This is something that I always find funny. Medevacs or warp prisms or overlords that are set to a unit to go to where your army are, like if you tell them a move command, once it goes there, it picks them up, and sometimes that marine or the whatever you put in the your dropship, whatever it may be, whatever race you're playing, it just kind of sits there. And when the battle engages, you could have had one extra unit on the field. Sometimes players don't notice that. I'm surprised you didn't see that. Well, I thought I'm surprised he doesn't have an observer with his army. Most Protoss armies, especially if you've got that robotics facility down, it's a good idea to have an observer because with your army because there's a phrase that ChaGoi taught me. It's when Protoss are behind, DTs come to mind, and if he gets enough, should have been paying more attention, not letting these zealots. Oh, that's a lot of free kills that he just got. And since he has a lot more Blink Stalkers than I have army, I decided not to pull the rest of my army to engage. I decided to wait for this Colossi and maybe another Warp in. He does have his observer on my army, which is really good for him. I should get an observer and take that out. But what I was saying before about observers in your army is because when Protoss are behind, DTs come to mind, and really it's these observers are Protoss's only way of detection. And if you here we go. Looks like he is going to be able to clean me up unless he focuses. He needs to focus down my Colossi with his Stalkers, which I don't think he's doing, because I don't have any Zealots on his Stalkers right now. So, and with the arrival of this second Stalker and my Warp, and he's going to go ahead and get out of there. Doesn't want to overcommit or overextend himself. But yeah, this tangent about observers taking too long. But anyways, if you're Protoss, have an observer with your army so you can stomp any DTs, Cloak Banshees, whatever it may be, Ghosts. Now, it looks like he's want to come back here again, but I've got... Looks like, yeah, I think he could take this, but with my second Colossi in the high ground, and since we're so close to my base, I have the ability to warp in units. He doesn't have enough to clean me up, so he's just going to retreat again. I'm getting a lot of free kills just because these Colossi are doing the most damage in my army right now, and he hasn't been able to pick any of them off yet, and which is something that you should do. I mean, when you're even if there's zealots attacking your stalkers, it's a good idea to have that Colossi focused down because it does a lot more damage than any zealots would do to your army. Well, it depends. But anyways, he's going to try one more time, but I think I've just got... He does focus down a Colossi, and I just have too many zealots. And does he have Blink yet? He should have Blink at this point. No, he does not have Blink yet. If he had Blink, these battles would be going much differently because of that Blink micro. Or he could just blink right on. Once the zealot, well, one of the things that Blink Stalkers can really do to help is once you have zealots all up in your biznast, you can just blink your stalkers away, and that really helps. Especially if he were to blink right on top of my Colossi, it'd go down really fast. But looks like I'm just gonna try to kite him and chase him. He's gonna try and kite my zealots, but with zealot charge and without him having blink micro. I don't know what he could do. He doesn't have enough stalkers to deal with this Colossi and my zealots, so he's going to get out of there. Looks like this time he's like, all right, I'm done. He's going to go back to his base, even bringing up his observer for probably no reason. And looks like he's got a little warp in my base. Let's see how I deal with this. At this point, I don't really remember what happens. This game took place a little while ago. But I found it in my replay stack, and it said... I kind of left a note for myself to cast this, and what's happening here? Why is my army going back? Big misclick. I don't even know what's happening in my brain right now. This Colossi needs to get out of there. What's happening? Looks like I thought that my zealots... looks like I thought that his zealots were my zealots, and I decided to get out of there. And yeah, finally cleaning that up. He's probably laughing right now. And just continuing with this Blink Stalker play. Actually, not Blink Stalker because he doesn't even have Blink yet. I mean, he's definitely got the economy to just... It's really quick. It's a really cheap upgrade, Blink. And he's been having these Stalkers for so long without Blink, and that's really what's been hindering him. Looks like he's going to start to grab his third base now, which is good because his main base is not almost mined out, but it's getting to the breaking point. Finally getting Blink. What are his other upgrades like? Looks like nothing. Wow. I mean, at almost the let's see, at the 19-minute mark, you should... I have plus 3 weapons, which is gonna absolutely destroy whatever he's got, and I'm getting +1 armor. I should actually be double forged at this point. And if he had any hope of catching up in upgrades or even coming close, he would be double forging or even triple forging right now to get those upgrades out. And yeah, it looks like he's just got this warp prism set up as a proxy, which, I mean, proxy pylons are good, but if your opponent has accurate scouting, which I mean, I knew he had warp prism, so I didn't like check anywhere for any proxies. Um, Warp Prism it costs as much as 2 pylons, but if you think about it, if you keep trying to set up proxy pylons and your opponent keeps taking them out, I mean that's a lot of resources lost, and this Warp Prism is mobile and can do a lot of damage. It's just like a mobile pylon. I really like Warp Prisms. They're probably my favorite tool to use when I play Protoss. I'm also a Zerg player. I play Zerg every time we do like 2v2s or 3v3s with my team. I'm a Zerg player in that aspect, but looks like I came back with some more Zealots, hoping that he kind of forgot about me, but and it looks like he did. I was able to do some damage to his probes, but looks like he's deciding to keep his army here, not upgrade. What am I doing? Let's see. Mainly Zealots and Colossi. If he were to take to the skies, because I mean he's almost on 3 base. Needs to get this saturated. But right now with all this Blink Stalkers that he's got, I'm doing the counter. It doesn't look like I have any mortals. Those would be good, but mainly Colossi and Zealots. Now if he were to go to the skies, I mean he would wreck me with. I mean if he were to get some Phoenixes for the Colossi and Void Rays for the Zealots, I mean he'd be able to do a lot of damage to my armies. That would help compensate for his upgrades. But look like this might be the final battle with his third base finally saturated. I don't think he's. Let's see. I shouldn't go away from the battle. Deciding to blink away from the Zealots, which is good. But I mean, there's too many Colossi, and I'm just gonna keep pushing. I don't even have any anti-air to take off the Warp Prism. So if he were to take to the skies, I mean, at this point it's kind of useless. But if he were to take to the skies earlier in the game, then all I would have been able to do to counter it was lots of Stalkers. But with his mass amounts of Blink Stalkers, I wouldn't want to stray away from Colossi and Zealots just because they do so much damage against Stalkers. And looks like this is all she wrote. GG from ChaGoi, and the game is over. Hope you guys like this. Hope you guys learned something from our mistakes, or things that we did right. This is definitely not exactly a high level of play. Wow, those side blades look so cool. I hope you guys, let's see. Hope you guys learned something and like this cast. I'm still quite new to casting, so let me know if there's anything I could do better. Let me know if you like this new mic. It's a lot better than the mic I've been using, I think, because I use it for recording with my instruments, and because I'm a musician. And I just wanted to see how good it would do with me casting. And yeah, also, let me know what colors you think work best with the different races. Because, I mean, my favorite color for Zerg and Protoss is light blue. And as you can see, I mean, every time I do a custom game, I really like to go that light blue. But with Terran, I really like purple. And ChaGoi's main color is green for Protoss. But if you guys have a favorite color for whatever race you play, let me know. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys follow my next cast. Bye.